Hi everybody. Today we are going to explore why does detoxing help the planet? So, yes, we could talk about processed food and the amount of energy that it takes to process food and make it and why it's not good for the body. Or we could talk about how if we eat, natural foods as well, there's less waste. Or we could look, actually, I'd like to introduce you to the concepts of transpersonal psychology and eco-psychology today. And transpersonal psychology is a psychology that's very much about the realms that are more unseen, that may be seen by some as linked more to consciousness or spirituality. And sometimes in a subgrouping within that, but a field unto its own self, is eco-psychology. And eco-psychology also has many findings that would be seen in some aspects of quantum theory. So for those of you who know much and know anything about nature, everything's a fractal. And this word, the microcosm and the macrocosm, I feel is very useful for us to look at in these times. So the microcosm is the little world, and the macrocosm is the bigger world. And of course, each microcosm has possibly got a smaller and smaller microcosm linked to it. So we even look at our own selves. We have lots of little beings inside of us. And then we can go out to planetary level, but then we could go out to universal level. And we've got all sorts of things like solar systems and galaxies in between. So in eco-psychology, many theorists have found that that we are a mirror of our environment, and we need only look at life in the cities and so many people with addictive tendencies and anxieties and heavily medicated and kind of running on empty, or coffee or sugar or cocaine or lots of other crazy stuff. So we've gone, as people call it, to close to a tipping point, and the psyche and the body of humans is also suffering. And when we look at the Earth Mother, she is suffering. And we hear this terminology a lot, save the planet, which it kind of irritates me, because the planet is its own intelligent organism and humans are little shits who've made a right mess. And there's a certain egotism, which is getting people away from the real tasks at hand, which is save the planet and clean up after yourselves might be a better terminology. But the planet doesn't need saving. It's its own organism that will deal very easily with little beings, and that's starting to happen. So at the time of recording, we've got this coronavirus outbreak, we've had all these fires, lots of stuff is happening, and this is really prophesized, and it could get a lot worse. And the beautiful thing is, and we've got people like Donald Trump, who, again, the lunatics are really running the asylum, and everybody can see now. So we're reaching that really disgusting weird point, which in some terminologies is called the Kali Yuga. And it sounds random, but the whole thing is that everything really, if we look at it, is consciousness. And we find that when we put our consciousnesses together, magical things can happen. And at this time, some prophecies say that we can opt into the collective consciousness and start to operate more from the heart than the ego. And presently, the ego is what's made a right big mess on the planet. And I go into that in depth, don't you worry. So the thing is, we can reverse engineer. So if everything's connected and the planet doesn't need saving, but everything's kind of struggling, what we can do is save ourselves and reverse engineer. And so any little thing we do, rather than doing it thinking we're a missionary and we're rescuing the planet, if we start to look after ourselves and our own shit, actually, guess what's likely to happen? So we have a course coming, starting on the 6th of Feb, and what I like to propose to you is that we all go into a mindful detox to become better planetary citizens, to become more aligned, to start to find our way back home, to start to try to create the positive mirror image in the planet that we want to see by starting from us. So if that interests you, please check out some of the other videos that we're making. We've got a brochure, and we start on the 6th of February. We'll probably register people up till about the 13th. Much longer after that, we'll be too deep into the process. And we're actually starting through, we're going to do 4 layers of detox, going from body out through the different dimensions of our being, through the different energy centers, and from the bottom up to the top. And the beautiful thing is that we've got natural law behind us and time. So we're doing it in alignment with the galactic mind calendar and with the cycles that it's under. And actually each stage of the 13 days is perfect for what we're going through. So when we do that, and we're actually not trying to dominate time, that people, especially in the global north, try to do, we suddenly become more aligned a lot more quickly. So 52 days, can miracles happen? Yes, they can. So yeah, when we come together and we decide to clean for the greater good, and we share the process with each other, and we're leading into equinox, which is really in Western astrology, the beginning of the new year. And it's interesting, I'm making this transmission on the Chinese New Year day. So welcome, happy everybody, Year of the Rat. It's a really good, lucky year, a good year to get ahead. But we can't get ahead if we think getting ahead is having more than other people, is being super privileged and not giving back, is always over consuming and not cleaning and not being mindful. So let's start this year in a really good way. Over and out, and I hope to speak to you all soon. Take care, lovelies. Ciao, ciao.